Death is an inevitable and universal reality that all living beings must face. It is a subject that many of us would rather not think about, yet it is something that constantly looms in the back of our minds. In his book, The Denial of Death, Ernest Becker delves into the human experience of death and examines how our fear of death shapes our lives and the world around us. He argues that our fear of death is not something to be denied or ignored, but rather something to be acknowledged and understood, as it can be a powerful tool for living an authentic and fulfilling life. In this introduction, we will explore Becker's insights on the fear of death and the ways in which we can use this fear to live a more meaningful and purposeful life. In The Denial of Death, Becker argues that the fear of death is a fundamental part of the human condition. He contends that this fear drives much of human behavior and shapes our cultural beliefs and institutions. One way that people cope with this fear is by seeking self-esteem and heroism. Becker posits that people have an innate need to feel that their lives have meaning and that they are valued by others. This need for self-esteem and heroism is often expressed through the pursuit of power, fame, and success, as well as through the creation of cultural ideals and heroes. Becker also argues that people use various means to create meaning in their lives as a way of coping with the fear of death. This can include religious or spiritual beliefs, as well as participation in cultural traditions and rituals. According to Becker, people often use these means to create a sense of immortality for themselves, whether through the belief in an afterlife or through the idea that their legacy will live on through their descendants. Additionally, Becker posits that people often engage in symbolic immortality projects, such as creating works of art, writing books, or making scientific discoveries, in order to create a sense of immortality for themselves. These activities provide people with a sense of purpose and meaning that transcends their individual lives, helping them to cope with the fear of death. Becker also argues that the fear of death also leads to the creation of ideologies, belief systems, and cultural norms which serve to deny death, often through the promotion of certain values and beliefs, such as those of heroism and success. People often look to these ideologies and cultural norms to provide them with a sense of security and continuity, helping them to cope with the fear of death. In conclusion, Becker's book The Denial of Death suggests that human civilization is built on the fear of death and that people use various means, such as self-esteem, heroism, and the creation of meaning, to cope with this fear, and that these coping mechanisms shape our cultural beliefs and institutions. According to Ernest Becker, acknowledging and accepting the reality of death can be a powerful tool for living an authentic life. By facing the fear of death head-on, rather than denying it or trying to escape it, people can gain a deeper understanding of their own mortality and the preciousness of life. One way to use the fear of death to live an authentic life is by setting clear priorities and values. By understanding what is truly important to us, we can make choices that align with our values and live in a way that feels true to ourselves. This can help us to focus on what really matters in life, rather than getting caught up in the pursuit of superficial goals or societal expectations. Another way to use the fear of death to live an authentic life is by embracing the present moment. When we are fully present in the here and now, we can appreciate the beauty and richness of life and make the most of the time we have. This can help us to live in a way that feels meaningful and fulfilling, rather than constantly striving for something in the future. Additionally, by accepting the fear of death, we can also learn to appreciate the value of authenticity and vulnerability. By being open and honest about our fears, and by sharing them with others, we can connect with others on a deeper level and build stronger relationships. Another way to use the fear of death to live an authentic life is by participating in activities that give our lives a sense of purpose and meaning. This can include pursuing a passion, volunteering, or participating in community service. By contributing to something greater than ourselves, we can create a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction that transcends our individual lives and helps us to cope with the fear of death. In conclusion, while the fear of death can be a powerful and daunting force, it can also be a powerful tool for living an authentic life. By facing the fear of death, setting clear priorities and values, embracing the present moment, accepting authenticity and vulnerability, and participating in activities that give our lives a sense of purpose and meaning, we can learn to appreciate the value of life and make the most of the time we have.